Hi, welcome to the video 2, and this one's going to be on page 40. So this time, with power to power, the big thing I want you to notice, this is different than what we did on the first page because when we did the product rule, we saw the base twice. It was 3 squared times 3 to the 5th. But this time we're only seeing the base once. What this is saying is 3 squared to the 3rd power. And so if we were to write that out, there's what 3 squared looks like. I need to do that 3 times. And so I have 3 squared times 3 squared times 3 squared. So when I go to simplify that, how many times am I multiplying 3 by itself? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm multiplying it 6 times. So this would be 3 to the 6th power. Let's try an A. If I'm doing a to the 4th square, there's a to the 4th, and then I'm squaring that, which means I'm multiplying that by a to the 4th again. I'm going to shrink that a little because I'd rather that be all on the same line. There we go. And then, so when I simplify that, how many times am I multiplying a together? 8 times. Now over here, this one I'd have n to the 3rd power, and I'm doing that 4 times. I have n times n, that takes care of the n to the 3rd, but it's n to the 3rd 4 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So how many n's do I have altogether now? There's 3, 6, 9, and 12. So that's to the 12th. So what do you want to notice on this? So I want you to notice that you are trying to think how do we want to write this? I want you to notice that you are taking a power to a power. So it's like you have this, like the power inside parentheses, and then you're taking that to another one. And so what that means you're doing is you're having to multiply the exponents this time. And so when you're looking here, what's the rule? If I have a to the m, remember I'm using control period to switch back and forth between those quicker, to the n, then what I'm doing is I'm taking a to the m times n. So that looks different. You're only seeing the base one time, but you're squaring it, and then you have to do that to the 3rd power, or you're taking it to the 4th power twice. And so you're like doubling how many 4s you see. So you're multiplying these numbers together to get that. Click on this practice here and pause this video, go practice a few, and then come back for negative exponents. Okay, hopefully you're back now. So when we are doing negative exponents, again, I'm going to have 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. And on the bottom, I'm going to have 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, 5, 6, and 7. I couldn't count and say 3 at the same time. So then when I start marking these out, those will cross out, those will cross out, cross out, cross out, cross out. This time my 2 that are left over are on the bottom. And so that means you have 1 on the top, and then on the bottom, you have 2. So you can either write that 3 times 3, or another way that you could look at it would be 1, oh my goodness gracious, over, some tab, oops, space over here, 3 squared. And so you can either write it like this, or you can write it like that. If I do it with the A's, I have 2 A's on top. Oops, I'm writing this on the wrong side, on the wrong one. So I have 2 A's on top. I have 5 A's on bottom. And so when they cross out, these cross out, these cross out, now I have 1 left on top because there's no A's on top. And then on bottom, I have 3 A's. So that's A to the 3rd. Okay, on this one, you'd have n over 4 n's, for n times n times n times n. And then when I look here, only one of those is going to cross out. So I'm going to have 1 on top. And then I'm going to have 3 left on bottom. So what are you noticing? The answer is in the bottom of the fraction. And so what I want you to notice about a negative exponent is if I had, so remember how when we divide, we could subtract these. I'd have 5 minus 7, and I would, so that'd be like 3 to the negative second power. Well, that just means you're putting it at the bottom of the fraction. And so if you have a to the negative m power, then what that equals, oh my goodness, this is kind of crazy. What that equals is 1 over a to the m power. So whatever your answer was, so this would have been 3 to the negative second. When you take 5 minus 7, you get negative 2. That means it goes to the bottom of the fraction. This one, 2 minus 5, that gives you a negative 3. A to the negative third, put it at the bottom of the fraction. N over n to the fourth, when you subtract, 1 minus 4 is a negative 3. N to the negative third means you put it at the bottom of the fraction. So click practice here and do that before moving on to the last page.